So this is called the Spider.
Yep, we named it the Spider. It's actually called Spider 2. It's the second iteration of the short game robots we've built.
And why would you make something like this? What's it doing for you?
We wanted to understand more about the short game.
Yeah.
And we know that when we use players to do that research, we had higher standard deviations in our data set. So our experience with testing golf balls has always been using robots.
Yeah.
Because we use robots, we know they're repeatable. We designed the second version of Spider so that we would have a better opportunity to be consistent with our short game shots.
So it's going to give you almost purer data. You're going to take the human element out of it, I guess. So
yes.
You can just measure that a bit more precisely.
Yep.
What, it can deliver any kind of conditions, I presume?
So,
like you can crank whatever loft by turning that around, so any face of the path, any delivery, speeds.
We can change the angle of attack,
yeah.
the ball position.
Yeah.
We can change a forward press. So when we ask a player to hit a shot to that pin, you get 20 players, you get 20 different ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? So we've gone from what we've called a low checker, a ball that comes in, bounces a couple times and stops, all the way to a flop shot for this particular shot. So changing the wedge and then changing the angle of the wrist and how we approach the ball at impact gives us a wide range of opportunities.
So would you be using the data from this machine obviously for your ball collection, how to design balls, make them work in certain situations? I guess you'd be using this data to help you with understanding wedges more as well, I presume, I guess, will you, or not? Obviously.
Yes, we did an experiment like that a couple of years ago where we looked at groove wear.
Yeah.
So we collaborated with the Vokey engineers and we decided to run, we used our new green out there. And we had wedges that range from being brand new, so 0 hits, all the way to 1,000 hits.
Yeah.
And they were all hit out of sand, and they were that varying degrees of wear on the face. We were hitting shots for them and measuring distance and rollout so that we could understand how many rounds can you keep a wedge before you really start to lose performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is a great tool for that.
Okay, so you've obviously heard of my legendary short game. So I'm going to challenge this Spider, am I? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
And it's a 35-yard shot to around this green?
Give or take.
And I'm guessing this is all going to be very funny and it's going to be very precise in how far it hits. I can play any shot I want, can I? Is that the game?
Yeah, there's no rules.
It's who's closest.
Yep.
God, this is going to be embarrassing, isn't it?
I think you're going to have fun.
Oh, it's a bit long. Is that the one I got to get closer to?
Yes.
Oh, right, you're being friendly. You're being kind to me.
I could shorten it if you want. Not as long.
So they're just playing with me, aren't they? Look, so this is where it's hit the first shot. Yeah. Okay. I think we can safely say it's probably 1 up. Right, excuse number 1, my clubs are still at Heathrow. Excuse number 2, I'm very tired and haven't hit a ball for a while. Excuse number 3, if you're counting, is I'm not that good from this distance either. So what's your bets on? Am I going to get one of these? I'm going to have 3 goes. Am I going to get one of these inside that?
No.
Thanks. Oh man. Whoa, sit.
Hit it.
Go.
There's a shot at it.
Ah, a little heavy, didn't
three
throw
more.
that enough. Rubbish. Right, one here, didn't throw, I just caught that long stuff. This one was going to be close. The other 2 just came in a bit low. And a little bit to the right, but oh, they're now going to hit one at me. This is where I need coach to be doing this challenge, really, don't we? So is this programmed to do the same shot?
Pretty close.
So the only variable is going to be the wind and the grass, I guess, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, look at that. It's interesting, isn't it? How tough is golf? That is a robot hitting pitches. This putt's uphill off the right. This putt is downhill and off the right. I want that one. But in effect, apart from, they're going to do one more. Apart from the wind, and then obviously what you're landing on, that robot's done exactly the same thing. When I see tests like this, I mean, look at my variable, and this is a scientific program variable. Golf is tough, isn't it? Right, so they're going to hit another one. Hit. Yeah, that's amazing. Look how short that one's come up. That is so interesting. So I presume that's the same speed delivered?
Yes. Yep.
Same loft?
Yep. Nothing was changed.
Same strike? Or is there a variable on the strike because it's riding the face as a wedge because you've got loft?
The hardest part for us with this robot is actually the operator putting the ball in the exact same spot.
Of course, you've got then the caliber. Right.
The robot is very repeatable. It's
so then the
aware.
biggest variable there is, like I said, it's the wind.
Yep.
The ball, but probably not. In theory, the ball's going to be the same every time.
The ball should be the same every time, yes.
So then it's the grass, which I have no control over. Obviously you have some, but there's gravity, there's slope. It might grow faster in one spot to another spot. It might dry in one spot, slightly different to a different spot.
The green's not perfectly level. And Mike had mentioned earlier when he talked about using standard deviation as a metric. So
yeah,
we would never conduct a test and hit 3 shots and stop.
Yeah, yeah.
We would hit 30 balls, clear the green, fix all the divots,
yeah,
then conduct the test again with 30 more shots.
Yeah,
so we would have a lot of data that way we could use a statistical analysis on it rather than a gut feeling with 3 shots.
But for me, as a coach, I see that and I just think the amount of students, golfers, who are totally not working any of that in. That's all their performance. So the one that comes up short, they're thinking, I didn't hit that hard enough. Well, the robot's swung at the same speed in theory.
Yep.
Like there's so much more you can work into this. It shows as well how important it is that the equipment you have is as tight in tolerance as it can get, because there's so many variables when we get chucked in there before you start adding in Mother Nature's effect as well.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
It's amazing. I'm going to have 3 more goes.
Have at
Can I have 3 more goes?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to get one inside.
Yeah, I think you will now.
Right, 3 more goes. All the same excuses still stand, but I'm going to try and get one within one of the robot shots. Sit, sit, sit. So I'm going more loft. But I would never, I've now gone to 60 and I wouldn't choose this loft because I feel less confident with this loft. I would stay at 56 normally.
What are those? Are those the one that you hit with the...
Sit, sit, sit. Well, that's inside one, isn't it? Possibly, because you had your short one there.
Yep.
That's one. That's good enough for me. One's good. I am not good from this area. Go.
Yeah, there's 2 X's.
So look, so I'm here, that's a robot, and then 2 robot here. This is me, so just inside. I think that one is me as well there. And then I had not enough loft, which is why I was coming off a little bit low on some that just rolling off the bag. I mean, that illustrates to me how tight your tolerances need to be as a player, because you are dealing with so many variables when you get golf shots out. Wind, nature, green conditions, all those things play their part. I duffed that one, so let's just ignore that one. Yeah, so look, I mean, we're getting consistent. So if we were to recalibrate, I mean, that's just catching more of the slope. Look at it go, look at it. It's such a tough shot. It's making me feel so much better about my chips and pitches when it's so hard for them to calibrate that. Do we even get it in the exact same spot every time? Yeah, so it's the same shot. I mean, it's repeatable, isn't it? They've just not aimed that far enough left, so we're getting very consistent. Definitely feeling better about my shots. That was so much fun to watch that robot and what they've developed to help them kind of do their research. The thing you got to understand, which is not that clear in the video, so I'm doing this bit at the end. So if they were doing a scientific test rather than just mucking around with me, the robot would be nailed to the ground as well as the board, so it wouldn't move at all. So the reason you started to see more dispersion was because every shot that hit, the robot slightly moves, then it's landing in a slightly different place, and that green was severely picked. So obviously landing 2 foot shorter than the other one's going to send it off in a very different direction, which is why you almost saw 2 groups. But again, the same point for me, it was interesting also to watch when the robot did 2 or 3, which were almost the same before it started to move. There was still a few feet variation in the shot. It's not like as if they're landing on top of each other and hitting each shot. Obviously on a flatter green you probably would get that, but who plays on those? Again, for me, it showed for me as a coach just how many variables we're always fighting against when it comes to golf. That's before you take my lack of skill into any of this test. That was a lot of fun. Post comments down below, something you'd love to do. It's an amazing piece of equipment to be able to watch at work, and it's always amazing to see what kind of depth these companies go into to make sure the product that comes out the other end is as good as they can make it.